So some of everybody gets this. They sit down and they do thing. Then they get to meet the media. Um, we'll start with Jacob Markstrom. I think was one of the more anticipated interviews. Now this goes back to Friday, so some of this, but it's our first chance to react to it. So a snippet of the season-ending media availability with Jacob Markstrom, and you knew what was going to be called up. It was going to be the you remember you waived your no trade, maybe going to Jersey, and then you didn't go, and then you were kind of upset and all of that. Markstrom was kind of asked about that once again.
I think season just ended, and I saw Connie, and I'll leave it at that.
How better? Sorry, can I just follow up? You expressed some frustration with how things were handled up above. You said earlier on. How better could that have been handled in your mind?
Well, in my mind, it could have been, obviously, I'm here now, so all the rambling could have been not happening. That's kind of, all the talks and all the stuff that was going on throughout the season, and starting early in the season till the deadline day, pretty much could have been, not happening, and just me focusing on hockey. That's what I would have appreciated if. Because obviously I'm still here, so it's to me to just be able to focus on the team and trying to play as good as I can. It's without any distractions. That I think what I was mostly pointing at.
So I'm just trying to. We were led to believe that at the time, Markstrom does not want to have to talk about this stuff. He does not want this kind of distraction, and seems to be the case. He did not want any part of this. He did not want it to be out there, did not want to have to answer questions about it, did not want to have to deal with it. Now we can debate to what level that distraction is. You're making $6 million a year. You're in the National Hockey League. You're a goaltender. There's seemingly a lot of pressure built into that alone. If in fact people talking about you is the pressure you can't handle, I don't know what that means. And beyond that, the fact that I'm still here, which way do you read that? Do you read that as I signed to be a Flame, I want to be a Flame, look, I'm still here, or the trade didn't get done, I'm still here, so it was kind of a waste of time? I don't know. I still don't know how this one goes. He did not want to talk about any, and I don't blame him, I guess, but he didn't want to talk about anything that was said between he and Conroy. But I don't get the feeling that it's all bygones be bygones, water under the bridge here between goalie and team.
We also just say, man, wouldn't it be nice if players told us how they actually feel and didn't give us crappy, reloaded, regurgitated stock answers? He hasn't. So
yeah, I'm not crushing him for it.
No, but I'm just saying, like, it'd be really easy to say, yeah, it didn't bug me. It's all good. He's being honest. Says, I don't like hearing my name in trade rumors. I signed here with a no movement clause. Why are there trade rumors? Like, that's fair.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it wasn't like his play dipped around that time. He was great the month after that deal fell apart. So I don't know. I also don't know how this goes. He has the ability to control the entire process. He could also be incredibly helpful to the organization. Or he could say, you know what? Don't ask me again. I'm staying here for the rest of this thing. Like, we don't know. I get the sense he wants to win and he's open to it. But I think if you get to the point where you're asking a player to waive and he says yes, probably a bit of frustration that it's not done. When he's, yes, I will go to New Jersey. Cool, deal's done. No, it's not. Like, whew, bit of a roller coaster.
I would interpret that's how things turned out. I don't know how or why it didn't finish. If the deal wasn't as good as they thought, and they were just, I'm talking about the Flames and management sniffing around. And I'm on both sides of the fence with this. Quit whining, because it sounds like you're whining that you have stress in your life, and it's like, well, is it that stressful? But on the other hand, it's what he signed for. What Pinder's point is, if you're doing a deal, then do the deal.
Yeah.
Don't string a guy along.
Don't call me when you're close on a deal. Call me when it's done. Don't ask me to waive and then say it's not happening.
Yeah. And then
I would understand that if that's how it went.
Yeah, I would understand that side of it. I don't need to hear that it was hard for him to deal with the. Okay, I get that part, But I don't need to hear that it's so stressful that you can't perform and stuff like.
Yeah.
And I don't know that he's trying to say that, and I do like that he gives you an answer. Anyway, there's it's both sides of the coin, I think.
That's the
he's
thing
not,
that
he's
we.
not warm fuzzy. He's a pretty intense dude, right?
That's the thing we don't have clarity on still. Is what exactly happened? Because you would think that you're not going to the player until both sides have a deal that they've agreed on and are happy with, because that's the final piece. Well, we've got a guy who's got a no trade. I don't think you start there and then start canvassing the league and going that way. I think
No, but
you go to
sorry to interrupt, and I don't disagree with you, but would you go to him when you've been approached and say, would you consider, and I'm pretty sure it was Jersey. Would you go to him and say, what about Jersey? And then try to
I wouldn't until I knew that, because we're interested in Markstrom. Do you think?
But why would you have the conversation if Markstrom?
What I'm saying is I would want to, because then, okay, he says he'd waive. Let's talk deal. Okay, we'll give you a fifth. Well, shit, that's not going to get it done. I'd want to know that there's a deal. Okay, there's some meat on that bone. At the very least, you're in the ballpark, and so you'd go there. Okay, then before we put finishing touches, I guess you could go to the player. But again, it's just a guess. But I got to guess the deal was real close.
Yeah,
and I don't know what torpedoed it.
Well, all reports from insiders was that it was very close, to the point where there were people involved that thought it was done, and then it got nixed. It sounded like by Flames upper management at some point. So
yeah,
there's a difference between moving your less than a year old child or 1 year old in your family to the other side of the continent, having to deal with all that shit, versus like, no, you're staying here. Those are two very different outcomes there.
Upper management or ownership, I guess, right?
Well, that's as upper as it gets, because he's not hands off.
Yeah,
he's managing.
Yeah,
and they're managing up.
Yeah. Maybe someday we'll know. But to your point, I guess Ryan or whatever it was. Now, what's the appetite? Do you do this time?
It doesn't seem like he's happy. Like, would you, just reading into that question and interview, do you read that as a guy that's happy?
Well, he wants to win. That the other thing that he had in there, which everybody says, right? He's whenever I go on the ice, I want to win. So I want to win hockey games.
And the other thing,
you're going to be sour for starters that you missed the playoffs. But to your point, I don't know that it's.
And the other part of it is, if you really want to simplify it, Jacob, you can go out in public and say, I'm not accepting a trade anywhere. I'll be here, and squash it all.
Yeah. And I think context is missing here, in the sense that you played us one answer to one question, and that question brought up something that he hadn't brought up on his own to that point. And he could have said that's all in the past, but he did the favor of answering the question in the media about where his headspace was at that point and how he feels about it. I don't know that if you said, Jacob, talk about your season, he would have brought that up at all. To say he's unhappy, I don't know that that's necessarily how I would portray it.
Well, there's unhappy about the season, unhappy still about having to answer questions about this trade. You know what I mean? It's not just, are you blanket statement? Are you unhappy as a player, as someone that's living in Calgary playing for the Flames? I think he's still clearly sour about how that trade thing went down. That still pisses him off.
Well,
and
we
said
heard
as much
in the fall from people like Elliott that it's like, doesn't like having his name out there. That's just one of his things. Like, and then that was dead on.
Yeah.
When you look back, the people in the fall saying Jacob Markstrom doesn't like his name on trade rumors, like, that proved to be very correct.
Yeah, he's a rare time. Elliott was on the money. Good for him. Good job, Elliott.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.